passes the horizontal line test so the inverse exists. Now I just got to go through and figure out what that inverse is. You may not know how to get this graph right now, and that's fine. We'll talk more about how to find graphs of functions later on. But if you wanted to use your graphing calculator, you'd get the same picture with your graphing calculator. All right, so how do we find the inverse? We have our function. They tell us it has an inverse. How do we find it? What do we do? What's the procedure we go through to find the inverse of a function? Step one. Step one is switch the y's and the x's. So we have x equals 2y plus 1 over y minus 5. That's the first step. In any problem where it asks you to find the inverse, step one is to rewrite the equation with the x's and y's in the different positions. Okay? Now what? Okay, and we're doing that because the ultimate goal we have now is to solve for y. Okay? So we're going to solve for y. We're going to take this expression now. We're going to solve it for y. And so a trace that we could do next would be to multiply the denominator out and see what we get. Alright, so I have this. Now what? I need to solve for y. Where do I go from here? Okay, we'll distribute our x. Now where? Okay. We'll put all our y's on one side, anything not with a y on the other. So let's say that's going to be an xy minus 2y equals 1 plus 5x. Our goal is to get y by itself. Since everything on the left-hand side here has a y in it, we're going to pull that y out. Y comes out, we're left with the x minus 2 equals 1 plus 5x. And now, what happens next? We divide. Divide the x minus 2 out, and we're left with y equals 1 plus 5x, all divided by x minus 2. And there we have it. That's the inverse. Now, the next question that comes out is, what is the domain and range of f inverse? Okay. What values can I plug into this function? For f inverse, for f inverse, the domain is going to be, and I'll write it the way the book writes it, or the test wrote it, all real numbers except 2. Other notation for that, minus infinity, semicolon x not equal to 2. You also can do the union stuff if you want, like 2 different intervals, negative infinity, 2, union, 2. All of these are the exact same thing. They're saying the exact same thing. I would accept any of those on quiz. What about the range now? If we're looking for the range of this function, okay, the range of this function, if you remember, the range of an inverse is the domain of our original function. Our original function's domain, if we look at it here, is all real numbers except for 5. This one, I will be a stickler for certain aspects. I saw on some people's quizzes that they got points taken off because they put something like x not equal to 5 in the range part of the question. Remember, the ranges are the output.